Good evening, I'm back. I'm your host, Jack Remington of the Jack Remington NFL channel. Sorry I didn't get the Week 14 video out last week. It was a 41-minute video, overloaded my uploading capacity. And I got called into work, and I went to work, and I kept trying to get on my cell phone during my break to see if I could pull up the video to get it moving through my cell phone. I have the app, the YouTube app, and it said this was rejected. I said, wow. So I figured I'd get off at 1 o'clock in the morning and get home at 2 o'clock in the morning and get in the office and let the dog out and get the mail, take out the trash, whatever. Get in my home office here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I get in here, but guess what? I got called back into work. He got sick and he had to go. I said, all right, I'll come back. And I thought I'd just be for a few, until 5, 6 in the morning. I didn't get relieved till 10 in the morning. I had to forget about the video, and I apologize. So I'm doing it a day early to make sure I get this video up to try to salvage what credibility I have left. Did okay last week. Just a quick recap: the 3 wins, 2 losses in the contest. That's 60%. It's 2 weeks in a row. We went 3-2. I have to you relearn all the time as business, and I lost with the Vikings and I lost with the Cowboys. The Cowboys, I was -17. I didn't do much of a write-up. Didn't do much on the video either. So the Cowboys was a stupid pick. I got hypnotized by that 33-0 shellacking in the fourth quarter when they destroyed the Colts, and the wheels fell off. But the Colts were in that game to 21-19, and the Colts almost, and this part was in the video, the Colts almost got 2 points off the blocked extra point they got running back when the anger of the kicker got him out of bounds. He was the only Dallas Cowboy player that had a shot at keeping him from scoring 2 points. I mean, I'm telling you, if he scores that 2 points, I don't think the Cowboys destroy him. I think the Colts don't quite give up. So watch the highlights again and see if I'm right on that. But I got the game wrong. I mean, then because I got the game wrong, I couldn't cover the 17-point spread. I was rooting for Houston to beat their ass. But I forgot I used them on the pregame.com on the monitored picks. I put Dallas a risk of 2,100 for 100, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. And then Dallas saved me. The Cowboys saved me at the end there, or else my entire winnings this year would have been wiped out in that one game. So that's why I'm talking about it. And a quick recap: I got the Vikings game wrong. I did a small ripe about it. I can never remember. And I even contacted the Elias Sports Bureau, and this was in the video. When was the last time a 5-7 team or a .477 team under 500 was favored over a 10-2 team ever in the history of the NFL? And I can't think of it. And the Detroit was favored, so I thought the wrong team was favored. But guess what? The public was right again. So that's 3 of these strange, funny bets in a row. The favorite has come in 3 times in a row on these strange games. First one was when the Dallas Cowboys was favored over the Minnesota Vikings at Minnesota, and Dallas destroyed them. It was 40-3. A couple weeks later, then it was Cincinnati was favored by 1.5 over Kansas City, and Kansas City and Mahomes never beat Burrow. And people kept saying, well, Kansas City, they're ready for him this time, and all the quotes from the Andy Reid and Mahomes. Oh, but we're looking forward to playing Cincinnati, and everybody and their brother was betting Kansas City, but we had the Bengals. I was telling a couple of people that I saw something different in the game. Kansas City outplayed them, especially the second and third quarters. They kept stopping. Cincinnati had 2nd and goal and 3rd and goal, and they stopped them. And I was, uh-oh. They left points on the field there. And then Kansas City looked like world beaters. Mahomes threw a little air ball up there, and they kept catching it. But the Bengals finally bared down. They scored. They got the touchdown in the fourth quarter, and then they shut out Kansas City the rest of the way. But still, I saw something very different in that game. I thought of who had the ball last, and this part was in the video as well. They could have kicked a field goal to go up by 6, but then Kansas City gets the ball back with a minute 20 left. But on 3rd and 14. Joe Burrow and threw a perfect pass, and the Kansas City defender was that far from getting his fingertip on that ball, to not make an incomplete pass and force the field goal, and then gives Kansas City a chance to win the game with a touchdown and the extra point. So Joe Burrow, the Cincinnati decided, we're going to win this game. We need to get this first down, and then Kansas City had no more timeouts. And long story short, that shows that most teams just kick the field goal or run the ball, get the field goal kicker in line, and just make sure you kick the field goal and get it. And they lose the game, don't they? Kansas City score anytime. I'm telling you, their offense is a machine. We did okay with that game, but I'm keeping a little tab in my head here that these strange lines, the favor has won all three of them so far. We won with the Jets. The Jets had the backdoor cover, got a little lucky with that, and the Patriots. I mean, I just felt that the Patriots was the better team, and it didn't look that way the first half. But you know what it says? That's why there's two halves, and Bill Belichick knows he's got to get his defense to save his ass. Let's get to the games this week. Oh, no, and all five of my teasers on the video came in, but the five teasers I put on the pregame.com type up because I couldn't get the video out. I'm with 3 wins and 2 losses, and the two big high juice ones, I lost those two. But we're still way ahead in the teaser money. Just the teaser money, we're still so far ahead. And I got some more teasers for you this week. Get on the video here. As far as the pregame.com, the fish tank simulator, let me pull it up here really quick here. There's no more buys. In my opinion, it's gotten better for the handicappers now. There's 16 games to pick from. So the game selection, if you use game selection first, you should get a little bit of an edge. Also on this, I'll make sure I put it on the spreadsheets on the musical part of the credit part of the video. Several people went 0-5 last week. The last 2 weeks are going 0-5. I mean, I can't remember last time I've seen that. I mean, several people, not just 1 or 2, several people went 0-5, and I actually passed some of them in the standings now. It feels hard. This is why we do it, because it's a challenge every week. So let's get to the games and see what we got cooking. We got 3 Saturday games. I listened to that Ralph Michaels guy on the wagertalk.com. He goes, well, since we had Saturday games in 2010, well, I'm going back to the 1990s when they started having the Saturday games. And I remember the very first 3 Saturday games, the road teams destroyed the home favorites. His thing is that the home teams only won 41%. Well, if he goes back all back to the 1990, he'll see that the home teams just, for some reason, they don't do well at all. We have a Saturday game, so I guess it's a good thing I did the video a day early. Fish Tank does good. He's really good. He's really good with this. He goes, for those who want to use Saturday games, please submit all 5 selections prior to that game kickoff. That's how you run a contest. He knows how to run a contest. He's done excellent. No slip-ups, no nothing, no bullshit. This guy's great. Game number 1 is the home team is the Vikings, a 10 o'clock game on Saturday. They're hosting the Indianapolis Colts. And it's the Colts, the line's fixed on the simulator, doesn't change. I believe it's the Vikings minus 4.5 now, so we're losing a half-point line value, but we don't care. We're going to take the Colts plus 4. I know what you're thinking. Well, you're so hot on Minnesota. First, I wasn't impressed all year long, and I said in the other video. Then I was impressed when they beat my New England Patriots. Now I'm going to try to get them to sweep Detroit, and they couldn't do it. Now I'm betting against them. Am I angry at Minnesota? No. I don't think there's that much difference between the Colts and Minnesota. Matter of fact, the Colts got the better defense for sure. But I think Kirk Cousins is having a pretty good year on the offensive side versus Matt Ryan's it's a mixed bag. Sports Insights, it's got the Colts only getting 36%, 1 out of 3 tickets. On Covers.com, it's even less, on 27% of the tickets. I mean, so everybody's betting Minnesota. Their magic number is 1. They need to win 1 game within the next 4 weeks to clinch the NFC North. Can they do it? Very important question, isn't it? So Minnesota's last 4 games for the year, they're hosting the Indianapolis Colts. They get the hosting New York Giants the week after. They're at Green Bay on January 1st, and they're at Chicago January 8th. It's conceivable they could lose all 4 of these games, couldn't they? They may not make the playoffs. Hear me out here. If Minnesota loses this game to the Colts, and the Giants beat them next week, Giants can win out, and Minnesota loses out. The Giants, because they have beaten them, is going to get a half a game leg up because they got that tie stuck in there with the Commanders. I hope this game this week doesn't end in a tie. That'd be really weird, wouldn't it? The division rivals that have 2 ties against each other. That'd really throw a monkey wrench and everything, wouldn't it? Things are getting dicey here. And also on the Colts side, too. And you think, well, why are you so high on the Colts? Well, I'm not. But I am going to point this out, that the Colts have not been eliminated from winning this division. I know the Tennessee Titans beat them twice early in the season, but guess what? If the Colts win out and Tennessee fades, they're 7-6. If Tennessee finishes or 7-10, well, guess what? The Colts will win the division with a record of 7-9-1 because they'll have a half game. Even though Tennessee beat them twice, the Colts they got to win out, and the other team, the Jacksonville's got to lose. But that could happen because the Colts don't face anybody from their division anymore. The Colts have the Los Angeles Chargers New York Giants and Houston. Houston's got one win. Houston cannot. They were eliminated a month ago. So Houston's not the threat. So this is a dicey game. When I look at the injury report, Colts got the healthier team. I'm not going to go through the injury list. You can look it up for yourself. But I just think the Colts, they got embarrassed by the Cowboys in that fourth quarter, and they've had a week to stew about it. And that look on Matt Ryan's face, he was not happy. I think Matt Ryan is still a good competitor. And Kirk Cousins is doing it's just a good year for him. But we're going to take the Colts plus 4. I'm just hoping for a close game. But the Colts are still alive. They have not been eliminated. Okay, but Minnesota's magic number is 1. They haven't clinched anything yet. So we'll see. Game number 2 is the Detroit Lions. They're 6 wins and 7 losses. They've been the hottest team in football the last 7 weeks. And they're at the New York Jets. And I've done pretty well with the Jets. I just like the Jets. I think Robert Saleh's done an outstanding job with this team. The Jets were just end the season. Jets, just end the season. I've been saying it for decades. They're just not committed to winning until now. Now they got a head coach that he wants to win. I'm telling you, I like that Robert Saleh. You know how I get about these defensive-minded coaches. He believes in the pass rush. He believes in defense. I know Detroit just kicked my ass last week, and I like Detroit. Sports Insight's got 44% of the money on the Jets versus 56% for Detroit. Colors.com's got 47-53. So it's a little shading to the Detroit. So there's not much of an edge there at all, really. But the Jets have lost the last 4 out of 6. They've lost 3 in a row, the last 4 out of 6. But they're competitive. The Jets can bring it. And I can't say enough about this Mike White guy. He got knocked out not once but twice in that game against the Buffalo Bills. Joe Flacco he fumbled the ball. Joe Flacco's still a great quarterback. I'm glad the Jets have him. This Mike White, he's got balls of steel. He's got the injured ribs, and the Buffalo didn't get penalized for any of those hits on the quarterback. They're supposed to protect the quarterback. Well, but they were at Buffalo, and I get all that. But you know what? I think the Jets pass rush. That's going to be the kryptonite to Jared Goff for Detroit, and they're playing outside. 13-mile-an-hour winds. I think it's going to affect the ball a little bit, so Goff won't be able to throw that long ball like he's been doing in his dome in Detroit. I just think that the Jets are going to do it. I know they got that one guy named Williams, that Quinnen Williams, got that calf injury. He's their best pass rusher. I believe he's got the most sacks on the team. But you know what? Robert Saleh's got 8 other guys he platoons in and out. The constant pass rush. The other guys going to step it up. I'm telling you, and they're going to sack Jared Goff, and I think the Jets are going to win this game. The Jets are 7-6 and Detroit 6-7. They're both very much alive in the wild card races for their respective divisions. And one last thing, a little extra motivation. I didn't find this out till the guy emailed me a couple of days ago. Robert Saleh was supposed to get the job at Detroit, but they hired Campbell. And Campbell's a good man. He's a good coach. The way the guy told me the story, he emailed me, then I called him and talked to him for about an hour on the phone. The way he told me the story is there were some hard feelings. Robert Saleh was led to believe he was going to get that job, and they had it, just been there, done that. That's life. But some people like me, we take it personally, and I think Robert Saleh, he's gonna get some extra motivation on those players, and they're gonna rally behind this Mike White guy. He put in a hell of a performance against Buffalo. The anointed winner of the Super Bowl this year. I think on the live lines, I think right now is the Jets minus 1.5. So we're getting line value. Something else I'm doing. The last few weeks, I went against my own device, started taking some favorites. I kept riding the favorites. Well, the Dallas Cowboys slapped me out of my slumber. So I got 4 dogs this week, and I only got 1 favorite, and 1 favorite's only laying a point. So game number 3. Let's keep this machine moving here. We're taking the Tennessee Titans plus 3. They're at the San Diego Chargers, and Justin Herbert, he's great. He's broke his own record from a couple weeks ago, where X number of passes, over 50 passes, and so many completions and so many yards. He broke the record again last week. Yeah, good for him. Okay, but they're one-dimensional. Titans, they've lost 3 in a row. I'm saying AFC South. Well, I got to talk about Tennessee. If Tennessee skids, if they skid out, and they, like I said, talking about the Colts, if they end 7 wins, 8-9, 7-10, that division winner will have a sub 500 record, as well as the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Bucs, the New Orleans Saints, the Carolina Panthers, and the Atlanta Falcons. So we're probably going to have 2 divisions that's going to have 2 winners that are under 500. I remember seeing one every now and then. I've never seen 2 divisions ever in the history of the NFL where there's 2 divisions out of the 8 in the NFL where they were both sub 500. So that's your parity at work, and people can think, well, that shouldn't be like that. Well, if you want, you can't have it both ways. If you want parity, you're going to have this. There's still good football teams, and you know these sub 500 teams. I mean, they beat my Colts that time. You know, the Chargers were 8-8, and there was another time the Seahawks were 7-9. They beat the 12-4 Saints, and I mean, that was a great game too. I'm telling you. So, long story short, we're taking Tennessee +3. Vrabel's usually a pretty good underdog coach. They're giving him 3 points here. Chargers are not a good favorite. I got written on my notes here. I got Justin Herbert. He's 7 wins, 13 losses, and 2 pushes as a favorite. That's not too good. Staley's actually a little worse as a favorite. Tennessee Titans in 2021, even though they still won the AFC South, but they had 91 players that suited up, injury reserve, and this and that. I mean, they set the NFL record. This year they're at 77, and they may have to bring in some more players. There's 4 more weeks so to break that record, 91. The Tennessee Titans had some hard, bad beat, tough luck with their injury department. I mean, this is the worst team in the history of the NFL. And they still won it, and they got bumped out by Bengals first round last year. And if they win this division, they'll probably get bumped out the first round again too. They lost to Jacksonville last week, but Derrick Henry, the running back, had 111 yards just in the first quarter. But when in the second quarter, it was 13-0 Jacksonville. They started having to pass, and now they're way behind. And Derrick Henry only had like 3 carries for 2 yards in the second half. That's not going to get it. They had 4 turnovers, and Jacksonville's no turnovers. Okay, they didn't sack Lawrence not one time, but they sacked Tannehill 4 times. I mean, and the penalties. I mean, and they only lost by 14. I mean, Tennessee's still almost man on the comeback there. I mean, they started to find the groove. It was too late. You know, I think this week, Vrabel, he's just going to stick with that run. He's going to run Derrick Henry, and I think the Chargers' run defense is not that good, where Jacksonville's got a decent run defense. I just think that Tennessee's going to run the ball in their throats. I think Vrabel's going to think, well, you know what? If we skid out, we're going to skid out our way. We're going to run Derrick. Derrick Henry had also 2 fumbles last week too. It's very uncharacteristic. Hope he's not playing hurt. That's the only danger here is he might be playing hurt. I just think that Vrabel's a better coach than Staley. I think he's going to smart him. You got Derrick Henry, you got that workhorse, and your team's built like that. Just if you're going to skid out your way. And I'm hoping Vrabel's going to wake up and do that. Okay, pick number 4, a game I just cannot believe I'm doing this. We're taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers +3.5. They're at home, and now I'm going to go against Cincinnati Bengals. I'll put the screenshot of the little yellow circle of how I've been using the Bengals all year. We've got 5 wins through the Bengals, and now I'm going to go against Cincinnati this time. And I know what you're thinking. Wow, you bragging how Cincinnati's so hot, and they beat Kansas City. They did, yeah, and they've done very well. But I'm gonna pull the game up here really quick. The Bengals got some problems. I saw something I didn't like on the injury report. Okay, number 1, their injury report is a lot longer than the Buccaneers. But this T. Higgins and T. Boyd, Higgins and Boyd, the wide receivers. Boyd is out. He won't be back till December 12th, and Higgins is questionable. He's got a hamstring. I mean, I don't think he's going to play. I think this is the last game with a hamstring injury, and it is unknown if he will suit up against the Buccaneers on Sunday. I don't think he's going to play. Hurst, the tight end's doubtful. He's got a calf injury. Joe Burrow is on the injury list. Probable has got elbow. Joe Burrow, the quarterback. Burrow is projected to take the field against the Buccaneers on Sunday despite an elbow issue. So I'm just reading it right from the screen here. Buccaneers side, the first 7 out of 8 players are on defense for the injury list. If the safety, cornerback, linebacker, defensive end, Nassib, pectoral, he's probably not going to play. I mean, the pectoral injury, it's like a lower back. I mean, it affects you. Anything you move your arm, it hurts you. And I've had these injuries too, by the way. So safety, defensive lineman, Villa is the defensive lineman, and that's a big loss if Tampa can't get. Villa was forced from the last game with a calf injury, and it is unlikely that he will face the Bengals on Sunday. That's a big loss on our side. We're taking the Bucs. He's probably their best defensive lineman. But next man up there, I mean, I stay away from the Bucs like the other week. they were getting a bunch of points against 49ers. And you know what? I've talked about on other videos, and I'm a Tom Brady fan, and he's 45, and I root for the older guys. I'm an older guy too. I always root for the older guy because you're not supposed to just quit because when you get old and people want you to get out of here, old guy. No, you stand up and you play, you fight back. And that's the kind of person I am, and I think Tom Brady. And I hate to criticize him. We're on the outside looking in. He's got that horrible divorce that got front page news. That didn't help any. He's involved with his FTX clown, this same Bankman-Fried, who stole all that billions of dollars from that cryptocurrency thing. He hired Tom Brady and just do an ad for him. Well, they didn't know that he was going to steal the money. But how the mainstream media is, it's Tom Brady's fault, it's this person's fault, and it's the Hollywood people's fault. No, it's that one guy's fault for making it happen. And now he got arrested, so we'll see what happens. But the thing is, the people were throwing crap at people, and it splattered on Tom Brady. He threw a ball behind in the end zone, on fourth down. That's not the Tom Brady I remember seeing watch. He's got a lot of distractions. So I'm counting on them sucking it up one time. The Bucs' magic number is 2. If they can win 2 games, they don't have to worry about the other. They don't have to worry about Carolina coming up in the ranks. And if I can remember, I'll talk about Carolina. It's a very strange situation with Carolina. And one thing that's in their favor: only 21% of tickets are on the Bucs on Sports Insight, and 35% on covers. So at least 2 out of 3, if not 3 out of 4, tickets are coming in on Cincinnati. They're laying the 3.5 home dog. We're going to take a shot at Tom Brady. He went to that wedding, took a couple of days off to go to Robert Kraft's wedding. If I was a player, I'd be pissed off too. Tom, you gotta suck it up, and you gotta apologize to your teammates. You gotta win your team back because you got talent on that team. They got talent. There's no question. The first 2 games that they played this year, they just smoked whoever. They smoked the Cowboys. They smoked someone. They were awesome. The ship sprung some leaks, and some of us, Tom Brady's doing. He's got to. Okay, it's not about me. It's about the team. Tom Brady, you got to get your team back, and if you get your team back, you can make some noise in the playoffs. But as the way it looks like that whoever wins the NFC South is going to have a sub 500 record. Maybe it's Tom Brady Bucs. Maybe it's Carolina. Who knows? But Cincinnati, I know Cincinnati needs to keep winning because right now Baltimore's got the tiebreaker on them. They get to face Baltimore again on January the 8th. So Cincinnati is not as healthy as Tampa. Tampa's actually got this slightly healthier team. And I'm going to take the 3.5 points. Hope for a close game. Overtime, field goal. We're getting the hook. We're happy. Game number 5, the only favorite I'm taking New England Patriots. They're at the Las Vegas Raiders. Josh McDaniels versus Bill Belichick. They faced many years ago when McDaniels got his first head coaching job with the Broncos, when he won the first 6 games, and he's taking all the credit and he's showing off at the sideline and everything. And he lost his team. They wound up 8-8. And they fired him. He comes crawling back. To, Bill, can you take me back? And Belichick takes him back. Sports Insight has 46% of the money coming on the Pats, only versus 54%. But on Covers.com, we got a little bit more money coming in on Patriots, 54% versus 48%. So it's neutral with that. Opened at Pats +3. Now, then it was at Pick'em. Now it's the Pats -1. So I don't know what's going on with that. They got that pass rush going. I think Judon's not playing hurt now. He got a couple sacks last week. They just poured it on against the Cardinals second half. I just think the Patriots are going to win this game. I just think the Patriots are just a better team. I think Belichick's not going to give him a break. He's not going to give McDaniels a break this time. He says, hey, look, I got to beat your ass this time. The Raiders, I think they're done. They had their 3-game spurt, and that's that. Teaser time. This is probably what you're waiting for. Teaser time. I have 5 more teasers. Here's teaser number 1. 6-point teaser. The Steelers +9, the Falcons +10. So I'm not going to do the other videos, keep repeating them. I'll say it one time, and I'll type it in on the description when the video comes out. 6.5-point teaser. Got the Miami Dolphins +14, and the Colts Viking games under 55. 7-point teaser. The Tennessee San Diego game under 55, and the Colts +11. 7.5-point teaser. Philadelphia-Chicago game under 57, and the Bucs plus 11. And the 8-point teaser is the minus $1.40 juice. That's a big juice. And then I lost that one last week. That hurts. The 8-point teaser, we got the Patriots plus 7 and the Titans plus 11. So I'm going to talk real quick about Carolina, then I'll close this out. A very strange situation that I don't remember seeing ever in my lifetime following the National Football League. Okay, they fired Matt Rule earlier in the season, and he took it well. I mean, I heard his little 5-minute talk. I was driving home from work when I heard it on the sports radio. He seemed okay. He wasn't bitter. He wasn't angry. He said he understood. And then a couple weeks later, the Carolina Panthers traded away their best player, McCaffrey. He's playing with the 49ers. He had a good game tonight against Seattle, didn't he? But you know what? But they beat the Bucs 21-3 in a huge upset, big upset. I mean, I know that Tampa was favored by at least 2 touchdowns, and Carolina came in and beat their ass. They're just 2 games out of first place. Carolina is the only team that controls its own destiny. If they win out, they'll win the NFC South. And wouldn't that be something if they win this NFC South? Wouldn't that be something? I mean, people left them up for dead with this interim coach. I don't even know who the interim coach is. But they're playing hard for the guy. I've never seen a situation in the NFL. If you do, leave it in the comments below and remind me, and I'll give you credit in the next video. I'll send $100 to your favorite charity if you tell me who your charity is. I'll even put it in your name. That's it, folks. I'm trying to keep the video shorter, but I got a lot to say. I got a lot of information. Okay, I got 3 unders here on my teaser. When you bet an under, we start out winning the game. You're hanging on is what you're doing. Okay, if you bet an over, you're losing, because now the team's got to do a lot of things. You got to have a lot of things go your way to get some points on the board. But they miss field goals, miss extra points. They go for it on 4th down a lot now. The age of parity. So I think the unders are way ahead of overs by at least 15% difference, where it's usually 50-50. Anyway, I'd like unders because you're automatically winning the game. And when you use them on a teaser, the outfit I'm with, you can only use one half of your teasers for over under. The other one's got to be a side. I got Dolphins plus 14 on the 6.5 point teaser. I think Buffalo's going to win that game. Miami's got some problems. Tua, I think he's playing hurt. He doesn't look the same. And Tyreek Hill, he wore that boot a month ago. He wore the boot 2 weeks ago. He got that one play late in the game with a big bomb, but that's good and fine. But I think Tyreek Hill's playing hurt too. Miami's got some serious problems. And there's one guy on one of these sites, the football sites on YouTube here. He wants to. I want to bet against Miami not making the playoffs. And then I got an email. There was a guy that thinks Miami's going to make the playoffs. They may not make it. They might skid out and win a bunch of games early on, and they can't win anymore. They've already lost 3 in a row. I think the Dolphins are going to keep. I think they're going to do a maximum effort here. And Buffalo's kind of banged up too. Buffalo's going to run the ball. Isn't there magic number 1 as well? Buffalo's in good shape. Both teams are banged up. Division rivalry. We'll take the points. Got the Steelers plus 9. I know they're playing the Panthers. I said something good about the Panthers, but you know what? The Panthers do well and against their competition, which is the NFC South. I'm not sure how they're going to do against the AFC North beasts. The Baltimore beat them, Cleveland beat them, Pittsburgh could beat them. They still got pretty good defense, and I think they're going to get after that quarterback, that P.J. Walker for the Carolina. He doesn't have much to worry about when they're playing the weaklings of the NFC South. But the AFC North, they got some pass rushers, and I think the Steelers plus 9 is a good bet. Falcons plus 10, they're bringing in some rookie this week. They're at the New Orleans Saints. Just taking the 10 points, hope for a close game. And the Falcons beat them once already, didn't they? The Saints have no pass rush. They're like Jacksonville, have a decent team, but no pass rush. I mean, the Saints supposed to have this badass pass rush. They were projected to get 50 sacks this year and being like in the top 5. Haven't done squat. I just think the Falcons, plus 10, I think it's a good bet. So we'll see. So remember, stay within your means. Always great to be an American. Long live the NFL. Enjoy the games. Remember, we're in the age of parity. But however, if you look at last week, there was several blowouts. You'll see more of that later in the season as the teams start separating. So, a long video. I'll cut some of this out. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you, players. Stick with me. We're on the verge. We're going to break out here. Thank you. Have a good day.